If you're in Istanbul for the Tulip Festival and you want to experience the best of the best, this is where you gotta come. Are you planning a trip to Istanbul? Then you have come to the right place. We're Jess and Miles, and after 3 years of traveling around the world, we are currently living here in Istanbul, Turkey. Spring is here and it is tulip season in Istanbul. Today we are going to show you the best places to see the tulips all around the city. Each spring, there is an annual tulip festival here in Istanbul, and millions of tulips get planted all around the city. We're talking somewhere around 30 million tulips.
The official festival dates this year are from April 1st through the 30th, but depending on the year and the weather, you could see tulips from March all the way into the first week or so into May. If you're planning on coming to Istanbul during the spring, it really is a special time of year for the city. Some of the best places to see the tulips are just right along the normal tourist path, like right here in Sultanahmet Square. But Istanbul is a massive city, and many of the 30 million tulips are planted in parks that are well outside of where the average visitor goes.
Today we're going to show you some of the best spots to see the tulips here in Istanbul, and I think we're saving the best for last, so be sure to stick around until the end. It's going to be a long day, so let's get going. Real quick, if you're starting to plan your trip to Istanbul, you probably already know the city can be overwhelming. There's so much to do, so much information out there, and with a short amount of time here, there are so many opportunities to get it wrong. Let us help you. We always have a more rewarding experience in a new place when we know someone who lives there and can help us travel more like a local. We want to be that for you here in Istanbul. We have created a comprehensive digital guide because we want to give you that local experience and share with you the city we have fallen in love with. It's less than $10, and if it isn't exactly what you need, we will give you all your money back. If you're interested, just go to the link in the description or the pinned comments to learn more about it.
Like we already mentioned, we're in Sultanahmet Square, which is likely going to be the easiest place to see the tulips, especially on a short trip to Istanbul. This square is in the heart of the historic center, right next to Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque. So if you're visiting Istanbul, you're almost certainly going to visit this area, and during this time of year, you have the added bonus of the most historic sites surrounded by thousands of tulips.
You could easily spend hours here with all there is to see, but today it's all about the tulips, so we're gonna keep moving. Our next stop is also located here in the historic district, and that is Gulhane Park. We're just about a 5-minute walk down the hill from Sultanahmet Square, and that is Topkapi Palace just over that wall, so this would be a very easy stop to add to your itinerary.
The Netherlands might be the most famous for the tulip, but it was actually the Turks that first cultivated this flower, and they've been planting tulips in gardens just like this one for several hundred years. And it was from right here in Istanbul where tulips were introduced to the rest of Europe.
These first two places should be very easy to fit into your schedule if you're just visiting Istanbul for a few days, but the rest of them will take some more effort to get to, so it's time to make our way outside of the historic center.
So a lot of the blog posts we read said that Yıldız Park was another great place to see the tulips. We just came to Yıldız Park, and the security guards at the front told us that there were no tulips here this year. So off to the next place.
We have left the European side for now, and our next stop is here at Hidiv Grove on the Asian side.
During other times of the year, this park is home to one of the biggest rose gardens in the entire city. But of course, during the Tulip Festival, it's all about the tulips.
This is definitely a more off the beaten track spot. We are in the Beykoz district, which is pretty far north on the Asian side. So needless to say, this is a lot quieter than the spots we just showed you in the historic center.
It seems like we're just before the tulips are at their peak. There's still a lot of them that are really tight bulbs. So the flowers will probably be at their peak, I don't know, what do you think? Within a week?
I don't know, honestly, a lot of these seem to have fared better than the ones in Sultanahmet Square.
Yeah.
The weather has been pretty crazy these past few weeks, and so a lot of the ones in Sultanahmet Square were kind of wilty at this point, but these are looking really, really nice.
And I think typically the Tulip Festival goes through to the end of April, but it seems like this year it might push into May a little bit. And there's a mansion here that used to belong to the guy who was in charge of Egypt. It's really cool. So admittedly, I tried to fly the drone really low over the tulips, and somebody came up and told me that I couldn't. And then a police officer came up, and I was worried he was gonna have something to say about the drone, but he was just coming up to let us know that there's a waterfall just down the hill.
So that's where we're heading now. This park, it's a good one. 10 for 10.
You might also be wondering how it was perfectly sunny and blue skies earlier, and now there seems to be a fog bank that has rolled in. Even though we were going to try and pass this off as one day, there's no way we could go to all of these parks in just one day.
The conversation that we had with the police officer was all via Google Translate, so we were a little unsure of exactly what we would find here, but there are in fact tulips surrounding this waterfall. Okay, it's time to head to our next spot, which is also one of the best views in all of Istanbul. Weather is not really cooperating today, but we also have been there before, so we can, insert some old footage. Çamlıca Hill. All of the blog posts that we read about the Tulip Festival here in Istanbul, even the ones labeled 2023, listed this as a spot to see the tulips. We are here, and we can confirm there are no tulips this year.
Not a single tulip.
So similar to Yildiz Park, no tulips here in 2023.
But the view's amazing, so
yes,
I'm not terribly sad about the trip.
This is the highest point in all of Istanbul. It offers an amazing view over the city. If you have some extra time here, highly recommend coming before sunset. We have grabbed a tea, and then we are going to head to one more spot on the Asian side. Hopefully there are tulips there. And like we mentioned earlier in the video, we have saved the best spot for last, so not all is lost.
We know we're gonna see a ton of tulips, but not here on Çamlıca Hill. Çamlıca Hill.
Çamlıca Hill.
We're working on our Turkish.
Yes.
10 for 10 for the view, 0 for 10 for tulips. Hopefully we'll have better luck in Göztepe.
We have made it to our final stop on the Asian side, and that is the Göztepe 60th Year Park, and we've got tulips.
So many tulips. By far the most we've seen in any one place yet.
This place is awesome. From just a tulip standpoint, I would say it's definitely the winner so far. This park has the very big bonus of these beautiful pink trees. It's honestly kind of hard to decide where to go because there's just so many tulips. So this park is a little bit south of Cappadocia, which is actually very easy for us to get here because that's where we live.
But it's very much so out of the normal tourist path.
Yes, but if you have more than a few days here and you are wanting to see the tulips, this is a great spot. But it's time to head to our last stop.
The grand finale.
We are back on the European side and here in Emergen Park. This is the main location for the Tulip Festival here in Istanbul. This place is huge and there are millions of tulips here.
There are more tulips here than anywhere else in the city, and they have some really creative displays. There is a river of tulips, a map of Turkey in tulips,
an I Heart Istanbul sign. I think there are over 100 different varieties of tulips here. It's kind of starting to rain a little bit, but you know what? We're not going to let that stop us because this is amazing and we have so much to see.
I think we're going to be here for many hours taking pictures of tulips.
The rain is getting a little harder. Oh, actually, on that note, they have old Ottoman pavilions that they have converted into restaurants and cafes. So maybe we'll hide from this for a little bit and fingers crossed it stops.
This park has some incredible views of the Bosphorus, and we're honestly pretty far north at this point. We're nearly as close to the Black Sea as we are to the Old City, so it's quite the commitment to get up here.
But if you're in Istanbul for the Tulip Festival and you want to experience the best of the best, this is where you gotta come.
I think that's gonna do it for us. We really hope this video helps you plan out your time here in Istanbul, and be sure to check out all of our other videos on Istanbul.
We're just gonna relax and enjoy the park for a couple of hours.
This really is a nice place. So many tulips.
Okay, bye.